investors at all put off by the notion or the fact that, for instance, for the Bitcoin investment trust, at least, it trades at a premium to its underlying assets, the NAV?
Yeah, so Bitcoin Investment Trust has been trading at a premium for the past 2.5 years on the OTCQX market. We actually just filed with Canaccord Genuity, a broker-dealer, the application to get our Ethereum Classic product also quoted, which we hope to accomplish a little bit later this year. And so those are really driven by supply and demand. There's clearly quite a bit more demand for these products on the market than there is supply of them. And I actually think one of the days that was probably most validating for us and what we're doing at Grayscale is when we actually saw in late December, GBTC actually eclipsed the notional trading volume of the Spider Gold ETF on 2 days this past December. So that's an instrument that institutions use and have been using for over a decade to gain exposure to gold. Well, here's a mechanism for institutions to gain exposure to Bitcoin.
So for a long time, you've had sort of this lock on this part of the market in terms of how you invest in a digital currency with GBTC. Do you feel like you're sort of losing that competitive advantage as more and more products roll out into the market?
Well, I think it's actually probably more validating than anything to see other entrants coming into the space. The digital large cap fund, for example, compared to some other index products that you may see have recently been announced or recently launched, it's adaptive, right? There's a rules-based methodology for it that allows people to gain exposure to about 70% of the digital currency market with a singular investment. And because we rebalance the fund every quarter, we're always looking at changing market conditions within the digital currency landscape so that people really are staying true to that 70% coverage as opposed to what may or may not be available on a particular platform, et cetera. I think the other thing that's super, is differentiating about Grayscale is that we've taken probably a little bit more of the traditional asset management approach. We license all of our data indexes from a company called TradeBlock so that all of the pricing sources are external. We've outsourced custody to third-party custodians, et cetera. So we've really focused on putting together the best-of-breed service providers around our products. And we're just going to continue rolling out more products as investors are asking for them.
So, Michael, we've seen companies put Bitcoin in their title just to cause a spike in their stock.
Sure.
Do you ever look at not only the currencies, but do you look at companies that really have exposure to these currencies that are really Bitcoin or blockchain plays?
So for us, our focus is squarely on digital currencies themselves. We have not been making any kind of investment structures around companies that are exploring IoT or exploring any kind of blockchain-related investments. As I'm sure you guys have covered quite a bit, there are several ETFs now that are looking at those types of offerings, and I think that's great because investors are certainly out there asking for that type of exposure. But at the moment, it's not a place where Grayscale is focusing its efforts.
So in terms of the altcoin-specific products that you recently launched, what has the uptake been?
So
who has bought them?
Yeah, so we're only about a week or so since we made that announcement. And so the 4 newest offerings were individual products for Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Bitcoin Cash. And the uptake has actually been fantastic. There's a lot of investors who want to be able to place targeted exposure in a fund like any of the aforementioned ones. And there are also investors who want that more diversified exposure like the digital large cap fund offers.
Michael, from a portfolio management perspective, so your new fund is
So my personal opinion, and I've already kind of stated this on the video, is the guy is not mentioning fees. So you can go with these portfolios and, the ETFs too. I think it's not a bad choice. In fact, it's great for diversification, but just realize when you're putting your money into these managed funds and ETFs, you're going to be paying fees. And the big benefit is, yes, you're paying fees, but it is going to hopefully reduce your risk. And especially the upside is, if you are holding currency, you have to worry about hacking. But if you own an ETF of stocks, or you decide to put money in one of these funds that they've set up, Wall Street set up, you're not going to have to deal with that. So there are some pros and cons, but I made a previous video on this channel where I think everyone, especially if you're the kind of person that's going on YouTube, you should just own the funds and just be careful. I do recommend actually doing a 50-50 balance of stocks to crypto. So maybe you go into the ETF and get some crypto exposure as well. But the main idea is if you are investing, you want to have all asset classes. So I wouldn't have it where you're 50% cryptocurrency and then 50% ETFs on cryptocurrency, because really then your entire exposure is crypto and technology, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think that you own some currency, maybe you buy one or two, you have a little bit in the companies that are with cryptocurrency, but then look at other stocks. I mean, the stock market has a great selection, and I think it's a little overvalued, and I do think we're coming up for a correction. So in a way, I would also be a big proponent of cash, and these funds, they don't do that. When there's a dip, these funds don't adjust, or they don't, you can't take advantage of dips. So that's another reason why, for me, at least right now, I hold a lot of cash, because I feel like the real estate market will correct soon. I feel the stock market will correct soon. I'm bullish on cryptocurrencies, and obviously I have orders to buy more cryptocurrencies if there's another dip. But my personal opinion is cryptocurrencies, at least for 2018, it's the year of the crypto. I think it's going to outperform any of the other asset classes. But let me know what you guys think. Appreciate the comments. They're really, really helping me produce good content for you guys, and I hope to keep sharing interesting news. So let me know what you guys think, and thank you very much for watching.